And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. It is good to see everybody. Hope everybody's been having a nice day, evening, wherever you all are. And now we're walking through the garden at night. All right, and we have this here. We have some, a cluster of different plants that are hanging out right here. There were some raccoons fighting earlier, but I have not seen anything else. Okay, and let's see. Looking for anything over here. I've not seen any. So yeah, so far there is no animals around. It is just mainly quiet at the moment. Everything here peaceful, but earlier there were some bandit pups fighting, as they are called. Right, and yeah, I think that doing late night walks is, well, it doesn't have to be late night walks. It could just be walks in the woods or whatever is nice to do. And gracious greetings, Eugene. It's good to see you, buddy. All right. So you haven't seen one of these, I don't think, yet. So I'm going to show you some stuff. All right, and these are just some plants that are like kind of wild. They're not wild, but they're wild but not wild. If that makes any sense. And so were used a long time ago by other civilizations. All right, Eugene, let's show you the other region of the... See, look, it got bigger. This is the daikon, and it's very, very huge now. And glad you came. Eugene, I hope you're having a nice day. Thank you for, nice evening. Thank you for coming through. And there is the broccoli. Also, hello everyone tuning in. We are just looking at our friendly neighborhood alien. Yes, we're just looking at the progress of the garden, and we do this nightly. Pretty much every single night we go in here and see the progress of the different plants, and this one has been growing very quickly every single day. All right, and yeah, there has been debate about plants that are roots and plants that are, vegetables. Because with a root plant, you could have everything underground, so if something happens, you could just go pull it up, right? With the other types of plants like these, bugs and things could eat those plants. So roots seem to be pretty cool, but then again, there's different diseases that could get into those type of plants. All right. And Eugene, these are the elephant ear plants right here. They are grown, they're just they come back every year from different plants that were here a long time ago, and they just sort of repopulate the area, right? These are a couple of different types of flower plants that are just grow wild here. Okay. Yeah. I've been having a lot of cold weather recently, and many people have had that as well. Other parts of the country are warm, and people are enjoying it, and that's good for them. It just depends on what people like. I feel all right now, but it's pretty cold, indeed. Okay, and some of those are Mexican plants that are going to sprout. Right there. Those are some Mexican ones. There's Mexican flowers. All right, and Eugene says, I tried planting tomatoes and potatoes and never grew an apple to just never grew into a tree. Understood. I've had sometimes I planted things that never came up. The reason why this happens is a couple different reasons, and sometimes the seeds are duds, and I call them duds. They're probably called something else, but they just don't go off. They don't do anything. There were a couple of seeds in this area from this breed, and only 2 popped up, and the other one is kind of small because the other one took over everything. But yeah, these plants are and that one too. There's a couple of rows, not a row, but a couple of other spinach plants, but they didn't come up. So it depends on the seeds and other conditions. There's ways to figure this out, where the way to troubleshoot it, I think, with online, there's different ways to, like, tutorials about the planting planting the different plants. But yeah, sometimes things are overwatered, sometimes they don't get enough water. There's a couple of different things that come into play with it. So yeah, tomatoes, I would say they need to be watered every day. Oh, nice, Eugene. Nice. So growing them again, I think that would be a good idea. So I'll give you some suggestions. For my opinion, is that get a pot. If you're going to grow some tomatoes, get a pot and get some good gardening soil that's dark. There's a critter walking around over there somewhere. I hear him. He's coming out for the stream, I guess. And those plants, and bury it a couple like an inch or half an inch or so in the ground, and you could put some water under it, where there's holes under the pot, right? So you could put some water in the little pot under it, and don't let it get rotten, sit there in the water for too long, but let it just get wet, and do that every single day. Eventually they will sprout. One time I grew a hybrid. Oh yeah, he's coming here. The thing's coming this way. Yeah, I could see him. Whatever it is. Yeah. Right there. Yeah, so with those hybrids, they will... What I'm trying to say is I grew tomatoes and hybrid tomatoes. And with the hybrid tomatoes, those things could get really big. It's like a giant vine. But it needs very good soil because it keeps on dragging nutrients in the ground. I think those might be bandit puppies. I don't really know what they are. What we're looking at. Tomatoes, potatoes, onions, peppers, microgreens. That is facts. You know what that is? Those are some bandit puppies fighting each other. They're wrestling or fighting each other. Okay, so we're watching WWE right now, basically. All right. Yeah, Eugene said I would like to try tomatoes, potatoes. Okay, so potatoes. You of course you would do your research about these things and look up YouTube tutorials and things like that. But I could say with potatoes, yeah, you cut a piece of the potato. And facts. Hey, Night Shift, bro. We're watching some bandit puppies wrestle each other, or play around. Right, and yeah, so yeah, shout out to Night Shift. So there is this type of there's a piece of the the potato, and you put it underground, and then it sprouts up different pieces, and then it makes into a bush, and then it makes more of them. That is what those things are. We see you, whatever you are in there. Yeah. So that's how the potatoes work. Because there's Irish potatoes that are pretty good. Those are very good. And is it climbing a tree, or what are we doing here? Okay. And yeah, and what else he said? He said onions. Yeah, onions. There's onion seeds, and you get a raised bed. Like, I don't know. Like, for instance, you get like a plastic box, and you can put some soil in it, or put it in the ground, and you just kind of half an inch or so deep, put water in it. Over time, they sprout and do their thing. And peppers. I know all about peppers. So peppers, you want to do is get a pot, and with the holes under it, you can get a smaller one or a bigger one, doesn't really matter. And because you could either transplant it later or just let it get bigger in a bigger pot. And then with those pepper plants, you go and put them like maybe half an inch or so in the soil, cover it, and they're underneath. It absorbs water from underneath. Over time, it sprouts, but make sure it doesn't get too over wet over time. And they get a little bit bigger. You can put eggshells, different fertilizers in there to help it out. And that is how you would do that, right? So you could transplant it, but when you're transplanting it, it's better just get a bigger pot where it's just going to grow its whole life in, or you could transplant it and just make sure it's all watered and then put it in the other thing, because it'll have a little bit of a shock, and then it'll kind of go back to normal. It'll certainly completely go back to normal. Not kind of, it'll completely go back to normal. Hello, everybody. We are watching some raccoons wrestle each other, which are really, I like to call banded puppies. And alligator. Hello there, 301. Alligators could be around, but I highly doubt it. But they could be lurking. It certainly looks like the type of scenery you'd see an alligator in. Yeah, so watch out for those alligators, those gators. Hello, Abby. Glad you made it. Oh, shout out to you, 301K. My good man, welcome to the stream. And hello, Abby, welcome. We're watching banded puppies wrestle around. Yeah, so with what we're talking about here with the peppers is that over time it grows bigger and bigger, and then they have these flowers that are white, and then they'll, depending what type of pepper you grow, and then there's red and green peppers that will come, right? And the green is like less hot. The green ones are less hot, and the red ones are extremely hot. That's how it works. I just find to ask about how far away are you from alligators? Okay. So with that one that you speak of, the alligators, they are about, it could be like 50 miles from me or something like that. It depends. There's canals that they may be in, it's far, but not that far. And maybe 200 miles away, there's some swamps. Maybe not even that far, but there's some swamps and like really big bogs. And that's where those things are, like at the nature center probably. You see, those are the banded puppies right there. Those little lights you see. And that is how far away they are. They're not in this location, though. I mean, they could be around. It's possible. I wouldn't be surprised, but they're usually not this far inland. Yeah. And yeah, so that's how you would grow the peppers and microgreens. Yeah, microgreens a similar way. It's with microgreens, you'll have this, either a pot or you also put it in the soil. Just remember the reason why I put things in a pot is because you run into this issue of if it gets cold outside, you have to go put it all in. You have to, it's going to die in winter. So the putting things inside there works better. But you could always put it in the ground. That works too. For a minute, I thought there was something real close to me, but it was just a shadow. Yeah, I am Louisiana, USA. All right. And yeah, Canada's cool. So different peppers. I have something called a dragon Thailand pepper. That's what I have. And they are really cool and they're very hot. My genius self one time is I'm real smart, and one time sometimes I'll eat peppers because I'm into spicy food. A dragon who? I know me and these names. So the dragon pepper. And it's out. You see, a night shift. You thought that I was done. Not true. It's actually dragon's breath pepper. It's like even more intense. It's like he said, dragon who? I'm like, nah. Hold on, hold your horses and hold my beer for a second. It's actually dragon's breath peppers. It makes even more sense that way. I have the Carolina Reaper seeds. I have the ghost pepper seeds. I have the habanero seeds. I have all of them. Yeah. Right now it's very, very cold and they don't like this weather, but we'll have them out later. So there's lots of I have grown them successfully, but there's other times where there's failures. Oh, you're a baby with spice. Yeah. See, in my city, it's where spice is the capital of the world, pretty much. Where I am, there is lots of food from South America and Africa and Europe, different parts of Europe, and it all came here where I am. But yeah, so yeah, ghost pepper sauce. Yeah, that's going to be something very interesting. So those peppers, by the way, you still have spicy food, but yeah, it can be harsh on the digestive systems. Hello, everybody. We are watching banded puppies play around with each other. And they're looking at us. Yeah, they said chat hello. Yeah, so the ghost pepper, ghost pepper. By the way, the dragon's pepper is not that one. It's not as hot as the ghost pepper, but it's one of the hottest ones. And one time I was being real smart, and I touched my eye. I know I was swiping my face where my eye is after when I bit into one, and I felt really stupid for a really alien puppies. Nice. That's a good one. I felt really stupid because my face and my eyes, everything in me was like burning, and I had to get water and just blot myself. So I will say that the pepper spray, I think, is very effective in self-defense, because when I burnt I got it in my eye and I really felt it, man. I woke up. If I was sleepy, I woke up 9 times over. Okay, I was it was like, so I was like watching a philosophical Chinese dude on YouTube, and I just was like touching my face, and I was like getting some out my eye. I'm like, oh boy, I'm a genius. I've lived this long somehow. I'm gonna let you slide with that one because Louisiana have some good food. Yeah, Louisiana does have good food, and it is definitely one of the capitals for food all over the place. Everyone comes here for food, and I really like it, and all the different cultures that are here contributed to our the way our food is. And let's see some more. I had the ghost pepper wings from Popeyes, and it's totally different from the Texas Popeyes. Oh, really? Really? Yeah, crawfish. Yeah, night shift knows. And I'm glad you also called them bandit puppies. That's awesome. Yeah. They're so cute. Oh, I knew the neighbor that I used to have. He moved to Texas actually, but he helped Al Copeland build the first Popeyes, and he knew him. So I got some, like, it was pretty cool to know that dude. And Al Copeland worked very hard in the beginning, and there wasn't really any customers, like right when he first started, and he was making chicken, and eventually people came in. So yeah, that was a good business that Al Copeland got into, because it spread everywhere. And Popeyes is very good. I like it. And Alien was showing me all the food in Louisiana. It looks good as fuck. Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely, the seasoning is so good. And I was telling her about the gumbo and okra and the different types of, there's jambalaya, there's all kinds of different, very classic food that is known for the state. I would go to my neighbors for Thanksgiving, and they would have the gumbo, and it was always, there was so much, I was like, it was like a psychedelic trip. It was like tripping on drugs. It was so much seasonings. It was very, very good. Excellent cooks. It's not like, I've had sometimes, like, I like mashed potatoes and chicken and stuff, but really the spices and the seasonings really are good for, make things good. Yeah, they're getting the spices from my garden. That's true. And black pepper is something really, really good. That one was traded a lot in the past, like those times of the pirate ships and stuff. They would trade that all the time, and it was supposed to help with sicknesses and illnesses. And that's something that I like to put in salads. And it's very different looking than the regular peppers. It looks like a vine with little tiny green things in it. So that's something, like, I was thinking it's like a regular pepper, but it isn't. Gene said, "Hello, mermaid. Welcome to the stream. We are watching some bandit puppies talk to each other." All right. Oh, nice. Fax mermaid. Gene said, "Best thing that came out of my state is Five Guys." Yeah, so we have, shout out to Mermaid. She does good gaming videos of the pool rooms. A very cool channel she has. And yeah, okay, well, look, they're coming by us. Scared. Yeah, so there's different ways that the peppers can be consumed. And oh, you're welcome. Oh, look at that. It's a bandit puppy. Hey, buddy. Welcome to the stream. Both of you are coming around. I have not pet a bandit puppy, but I've come pretty close to them. One time I had one of... Yes, amen. God bless you too, mermaid. Thank you for blessing chat. Yeah, there was one time I had a thing happen where some raccoon was coming my way, and we kind of ran into each other, and I had my legs like spread open, and I felt it in between my legs, but he didn't hurt me, and I didn't hurt him. That is true, Night Shift. They're going to their secret hideout. That is true. Yeah. Shout out to Mermaid. She is awesome. And so are all you in chat as well. Okay. So it looks like someone's like going to like jump at us. Like something crazy is going to happen, but it's like we're just stuck here in suspense. But yeah, that is the thing with the spices. You could put the spices into a blender thing, and you could grind it into powder and put it in stuff, or you could make it into more bigger flakes and put it into like salsa. I mean, chips or something. I mean, salsa chips. You know, like you could put seasonings on something, and it's just like a bunch of pieces of pepper rather than grinded up powder. Shout out to the Flowers. All right, so yeah, that's them. They're still around. They came on camera for a second, and they're famous now on the YouTubes, and where everybody could see them. Yeah, my family. Yeah, the eyes are wild. Yeah, it's like it's like Scooby Doo, or some like either a artistic interpretation of like a painting or some kind of movie where you see the eyes glancing through the trees. That's really what that is. That's what it's like. What we're experiencing right now. It's quite wild. And it is, yeah, and then these are some just crazy vines right there, but yeah, it's just deep in the dark void. There's these eyes that are peeking at us. Scared. Okay, and so I've never pet one of them before, the banded puppies before, but I've been very, very close to them. There are also we've not seen any on the streams, but there are possums too that look like giant rats that come into view, and they kind of waddle back and forth, and they run. Sometimes they'll chase each other. Like they'll run real fast, and one time I heard rah. It's like he caught him red-handed, and they're chasing each other around, and I had to break it up. And sometimes when these raccoons get really loud, these banded puppies will get really loud sometimes. And it sounds like some kind of a gremlin monster is about to attack me. But that is what they will do. But then I have to go break it up because it's kind of crazy. All right, so it looks like they've reached their secret hiding place somewhere. And do I have fruit trees? Technically this one right here. I need to get more fruit trees because that would be good for the yard. So this is the only fruit tree I have. It's an elderberry tree. This is the one right here. Yeah. And there's a couple of them back there. So these are the only ones that we have here at the moment. Okay, Abby says, I had food and was gentle. Oh, let's see. I was able to grab a raccoon that was in a dumpster by my house. They are real or sweet unless they feel scared. All right, Abby said, I had food and was gentle. Not gonna lie, I had to do my best not to bring him home. Oh, okay, that's cute. That's cute. Abby, you grabbed the raccoon. Oh, that is awesome. Scared. I had a small possum in my room, and I had to open my window and get it outside, knock it down with a broom. Oh, you know what I'm doing? I'm being an airhead right now. I'm too mesmerized by the banded puppy eyes to tell you all something. I have picked up a possum before, a couple of times. That was funny. It was actually like a horrible situation, but it was actually funny. Actually obsessed, yeah. So with those raccoons, not the raccoons, the possums, one time, okay, so my family, okay, right over there's a cat room. There's a cat enclosure sanctuary. Oh, thank you. And there was this, in the cat sanctuary one time, we saw a feller that wasn't really, it was trying to be a cat, but wasn't. So we go in there, and on the window, my family were seeing this little possum youth on the window, on on the window. So like where you go to open up the latch to open up the window, inside the cat room, there was a possum sitting there nonchalant, like he owns the place. And what I had to do was pick up the possum and put it in a box and bring it outside. And like I had just woken up, and the first time I did it, I never did it before. And I'm like, whoa, I have to pick up a possum. Scared. But I go in there, and the dude's just chilling, and like he owns the place. Like he thinks he's a cat. And I get a little like a towel, and I pick him up, and he's just like in denial. He's being picked up, and he's very like he looks like a very offended. And I put him in the box and bring him out. And he was just like, this is not really happening to me. I'm not even really here right now. But I love the confidence. I admire the confidence in the little possum youth. He owned the place. He was a cat, and he couldn't believe something was picking him up. Some hairy human was picking him up. Yeah. And Eugene said, well, we had a hole in our roof and a hole in my ceiling, and squirrels and possums would fall in my room. So it was raining squirrels and possums and ducks in your room. I see. That sounds like it was definitely an aggravation. And I'm still here watching this like TV. I'm finally. Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah. So that is what we were doing with that. So that's a story where I did pick up a possum. I did. Oh, nice. Nice, Abs. Smoke up and chill with us. Nice. And sounds cool. And everybody get those drinks or joints or munchies and enjoy the garden tour. Yeah. So, and I did it a second time. We don't even know how the possums are getting in that room. But they got in that room somehow, and it's like, it was so out of place too. Was there some opening somewhere, or did it run through the door? We don't really know, but maybe it was interdimensional. Oh, awesome, Abby. Glad that, and I thought you're staying with us and chilling. Yeah, and yeah, so that is the story about me picking up the possum, and don't know how it really got in there. They may be like interdimensional, or they're spies or something, and they had all kinds of secret hideouts to get in there. All right. Abby, the hole was on the other side, and it would freak me out when I would wake up and hear stuff moving around. Eugene, I'm sure it was like terrifying, because it's like, yeah, you certainly wouldn't want that to happen in your room, and I wouldn't like that either. Dude, the thing with me is roaches. That's something that really I don't like. Do not like at all. I do with the roaches because you do what you got to do. But those things, especially when I was little, I really didn't like those things, and that was the thing I was worried about. And they very bizarre creatures. They're allegedly their purpose is to eat leaves and dead things like that, and the garbage trucks are here in the background. That's what you're hearing. But yeah, that is like one time when I was a kid, there was one on the wall. I'm like, why is this happening to me? I was like the possum. I was in denial. Yeah, I was like in denial about it. All right. And well, I thought it was a rat, but there's no rat. Okay. Anyway, I agreed. Love animals, but don't be running around my room. Plus, my dog would go nuts trying to catch them as if she was part shepherd. As she is part shepherd. Facts. Oh, yeah. It's like they're to love from a distance, but we don't want them in the room with us. Yeah. One of our cats would get up in the ceiling, too. It's so confusing. Nah, for real, be still. Right. And so what happened was, with my Another thing that happened to me regarding the banded puppies one time, we were sometimes in one of my family had some house that they would rent out, and there was a lot of noise. Sometimes they would get into attics in people's houses, and they would rustle around, and it sounds like a bunch of people on a roof. It's pretty freaky when it happens. And I was, looking at it. I wasn't looking at it. I was going up there to check if it was there. We would have different traps and stuff to, remove them from the attic. And there's one time they thought one of them was in the attic, and my grandpa's cousin's friend was going to go into the attic to confront the banded puppy to see if it was that or a rat or something was in there, to be brought somewhere else. And the dude put his head up there, and he said, they sound like people because they have thumbs. Yeah. And so, yeah, exactly. They have thumbs. So the dude put his head up in the attic for a second, and he said it's way too hot up there, and he went in the car and went home. So I went up there, and I was ready to do what I had to do, and there was nothing in there. I took the trap out, but there's nothing in there, and we were just, it was kind of looking around. It was hot and whatever, but it is what it is. It's like you do what you gotta do. So, or the dude didn't want to go in there. He was scared to be in a dark attic with some banded puppy. We got the Abby is the banded puppy whisperer. So she definitely would have been able to deal with them. But the other dude, I saw one run up a tree holding a popcorn bag. Scared. Yep. Probably just came right back from the movies and stole someone's popcorn. Yep. That is a wild one. Imagine one being in a tree and stealing like that. Yes. Certainly just babies, indeed. And they're very cute. I like how they were, I'll see them and their cubs, very cute. So, yeah, that was some encounters I had with the raccoons. Yeah. Eugene said, we had raccoons trying to get on the porch. It was like a little family, and they wanted our cat's food. Oh, yeah, that is when I saw the Mexican raccoon. That one time I was telling y'all about that. It was this raccoon, that Mexican raccoon was when we had the cat food out for the raccoons at night. And that was funny. And you wouldn't care if you got it cut up because they're just babies. Yeah, exactly. And they don't mean anything wrong. They're just trying to be cute and cuddly. Some people are concerned about them carrying some like rabies and stuff like that. There is one time I saw a raccoon, a banded puppy, and it was sick with something, and it had real crazy looking eyes that were foggy, and it was just like sniffing around and just wandering around, and it had something. It was like looked kind of demonic looking, but it was still cute though. He was sick with something. One time a raccoon banded puppy followed me around and it wanted some food. And it would keep the distance from me, but it would be following me. Yeah. And you can adopt 3 over here, Abby, and they look like pit bulls. Oh, Lord. Scared. And you got the pit bull pups. they're going to come after, they're going to just be like running up a tree and start barking. And they'll roar like a dragon and a dinosaur. Okay, and let's see what we can see from the night sky. Let's see. Yeah, there's a star. Y'all probably. Oh, by the way, look at the tree, chat. The tree is turning nice and green. The aloe tree from China. And look at that. See, those are some stars twinkling. Yeah, there it is. That's a good shot. Right, and I just moved to a new place. It's just me and my dog. A raccoon family would be amazing. Yeah. Yeah, definitely amazing. For you. Hello, Breeze. Great to... welcome to the stream. It's awesome to have you on. We are just doing a garden walkthrough. To a Breeze, it's nice to see you. And we are... is there one more? Yeah, there's one right there. Looks very cool. Very nice. A shout out to Breeze. Very cool people. We're watching different woodland animals and looking in the woods. It's really cool. We have different plants and things on the trail. All right. Yeah, shout out to Breeze. Yeah, so we're talking about experiences with animals and little raccoons and stuff. I'm going to go show Breeze the garden. She hasn't seen it yet. We're going to go back this way. Yeah, shout out to Breeze. Cool people. And yeah, Breeze, so this is right here is the nice radish plant. It's from Japan, the daikon. It is getting really big and that is good. I remembered. I just remembered. Okay, I'm gonna harvest this live. Okay, we're doing a live harvest. Yes, trail cams. That's a very good idea. Okay. All right. So we have this, and we're going to put that way. And let's see how this goes. So I'm going to be harvesting this live. Okay. And let's do this. Let's do it like that. This, kind of move around the soil and see if we can get it up in one piece. And yeah, see, this helps with doing it more correctly over not correctly. Oh, those are very freaky. Yeah. Okay. Very smart woman taught me how to do this. All right, and here we go, chat. Right here. We have our daikon right here, harvested. All right, and let's see right here. If there's anything else. Anything else in there to scavenge up? Let's see. All right, and that is the harvest of the daikon. Yeah, very rich soil. All right, and here is the daikon right here, all harvested. And I want to do that live for y'all on camera. Look, and all this green is edible. So all that is, it's all edible too. All right, and here is the other piece of the daikon that we were excavating. Okay. And so that is a piece that would go on the bottom part, right there. Yes, nature's medicine, and it's full of nutrients. Definitely, it's all full of nutrients. Okay, so yeah, this is all the nice soil and daikon plant right there. Yeah. All right, so that was a garden harvest. Yeah, definitely. And I'll also make a short out of these scenes from it too. And that was an awesome harvest. And see, this one, yeah, this one is, that's ready too, to get more of that. Yes, I would be glad to do that. Definitely. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna bring this over here. And we'll have that. Okay, so there it is. I would bring a bottle of ranch in your garden and hide in the valley. Facts. Okay, just seeing, is there anything more that was taken out? Okay. All right. Oh, Breeze, that is a different Abby. This Abby you see here is an Abby from she came to my channel a couple of days ago organically. It's a different Abby. The other Abby that we know, she talked to me earlier. She told me she is her dog passed away, and she's not feeling good, but she's hanging in there, and she misses me in chat, and we'll see everybody soon. On my channel. Yeah, that's the other Abby. Yeah, the second Abby. Yes. All right. Hey, chat. Look, I put some soil by the spinach. Not the second Abby. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if she changed her last name. I've talked to her. We are friends on FB. Oh yeah, that is cool. That is cool. I'm glad that you're keeping up with her too. Yeah, so that's spinach. I mean, that is broccoli with more soil by it. Very funny. All right, so there we got our that, and it's ready to be eaten. Okay. Okay, glad I got that done. All right, and there, right here, in Breeze, these are just some wild plants that are floral plants that just grew wildly here that I don't know what they are exactly, but they look nice. Soon I'm going to geek, trimming some of this, but they look pretty cool for the, winter scenery. Yeah, I have neighbors, that's a neighbor right there, and there's neighbors back there. It's just everybody's sleeping right now, and I've wondered myself what these people can hear or not hear about me, and they either are just sleeping, the way the sound is, they don't hear it, or they just don't really care, or whatever, I don't know. So that is, it's kind of like a secluded place, but it's not secluded, if that makes any sense. Yes, they could be, that is true. More stars, like a planetarium. Oh, Breeze, that is extremely messed up. That you have to deal with that. Wild domestic violence. That reminds me of one of my friends. She had to deal with some stupid neighbors like that too. Right. Yeah, I feel you, Abs. I feel you. It's like you don't mind the spiders. There's no spider hate, but you don't want them on you. Oh, there are spiders. There are spiders that are. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all some history from Temu. Okay, up here, there'd be a spider that would have a nest from all the way up there, and the web would go all the way down here. That's how big the web was. It would take up this whole thing right here. It would take up this whole walkway, and a spider would be in the middle. And it was a type of, it was the web weaver. It was the weaver spider. And those things make like a traditional cobweb looking thing. And and it has like it's like a thick spider with a thick, shell to it. So it's not a huge spider, but it's a big spider. Yeah, I'm calling sheriff's office next time because that is what the landlord told me to do. Okay, if that subject, let's. Yes, it's too cold. Knock on wood. Fingers crossed. Yeah, it's too cold for snakes. And as far as I know, yeah. Scared of snakes. Yeah. Night. Okay, night shift. I got you. I feel you. Yeah. Scared of snakes. Scared. Oh, there's all kinds of different variations of scared. The different ladies came up with different scared things. Yeah, dreads are cool. I think they're very cool. There's a snake in my boot, as Woody would say. Not Woody from YSL, but the Woody from a Toy Story. There's a snake in my boot. That's what he says. So we don't want to step on snakes. Yeah, but anyway. So there's a Black Widow spider. The Black Widow spider. It's ruthless. That's not a pepper, dude. That's not a pepper night shift. I have no idea what on earth it is. It's some sort of flower petal, I guess. I don't really know. It's like some flower petal blew in here at some point, and it started just chilling right here. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's some sort of petal from somewhere. It looks like a pepper from a distance. Whoa. Okay, so there is... oh, you love all snakes. One time, Abby, I was chilling with... no, I wasn't chilling, but I was, like, one time on the bench swing over there. And there was a small little garden snake my grandma caught. And put it in a coffee cup, like a takeout coffee cup. Yes, Breeze, it is my backyard. That's true. It was very tiny, but it was like, it felt like it was big. And now we have snakes. Yeah, that's good. You don't have the huntsman spider where you are. Yeah, I agree. And you see the thing with those type of spiders, not spiders, but the type of snake, those little garden snakes, they're cute, but they slither around. I saw it and I thought it was a baby stage. You know what I was talking about. Yeah, exactly. It was just like a little thing. Huntsman spiders. Scared. 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 Right, and yeah, you have this, which is kind of looks like a snake, but it's not a snake. It's a vine that's like wrapped around a deceased stalk. Yeah, but with those snakes, yeah, they have some big brown, like gray snake here, and okay, Eugene, be blessed, bro. Thank you for coming. Good night. And yeah, with those snakes, like sometimes like it'll be like a walkway like this, and the snake will just kind of slither past that way slowly, and it'll go into these, like trees right here, and those aren't trees, but those are plants. Yeah, so like, sometimes bro will just be like chilling there, right? And then I'll like come by him and he just kind of slithers slowly off. Bro kind of gives off like dinosaur vibes. The biggest snake that I have seen in the garden is it's kind of like a rat snake, something like that. And by the way, you see this branch right here? I've hit my head on it a couple of times while walking through here when I'm talking to y'all. And it's light, but I'll be like, whoa. Bruh, I ain't tripping. It's like Jurassic Park vibes. Complete Jurassic Park vibes. That's what the snakes give off. Yeah, the biggest one I saw was the rat snake. It was this big, and it was gray, and it's a little startling. One time I saw it in there, and I was just casually just getting some weeds out of the tree, and I saw bro slither, and I was like, yikes. I was close. Yeah, it's definitely. And So one time it was in one of those other rooms. It wasn't a room. It was in an outside area, like where there's like a porch area, and it was just like casually just curled up there. Right. And Abby says snakes can be pretty freaky looking, especially the big ones in swamps. Oh, the big ones in swamps are like anaconda looking things. Those are scared. Oh, you want a swamp puppy? Nice, nice. Yeah. Scared. Yeah, so with the anaconda, those things are like, I don't know, as big as this vine right here. Like from up there to down here. That's how big it is. And they will just they'll have all kinds of, sometimes, some of them could eat a whole person, by the way. And I think those are really freaky also. They, they're very interesting too. Low key looking for a snake now that we said something about it. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. You gotta be, one's just gonna pop up out of nowhere and be scared. By the way, I've seen snake eggs before. Okay, I've seen eggs, and I'm like, what in the world has eggs here? But it had to be one of those snakes that had an egg. That's what it was. Because I'm thinking it could have been the lizards, maybe, but I don't know if those things have eggs. Maybe I think they do have eggs, but it was basically like a snake egg. So, oh, one time, my grandma was being funny. She was saying that she saw a snake eating cat food with a bow tie, which we'll call it a swamp puppy. And the swamp puppy had a bow tie and eating some cat food. I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. That'd be a cool cartoon, but I don't know if the snake got a bow tie. I'm jealous that it didn't, get me one. But hey, that's this snake puppy uh, customs, I suppose. All right, and so yeah, just a lot of okay, it looks like the raccoons, the banded puppies completely slithered off somewhere in a different location. They didn't slither off because they're not snakes, but they uh, scattered to their secret hiding place. Oh yeah, so a mermaid. You have a wonderful night too. And so there we are looking for the frog. So there's a frog humanoid that's a friend of mine, and he has a thong on, and he's very muscular, and I'm just obsessed with him. Chat and I are obsessed with him, and we're just looking to see if he's gonna pop out on us. I'm serious. And remember, there was a video of him in Mexico that we're showing, and yeah, he was in the frog. He. Oh, you're getting sleepy. Okay. Okay. And there is the frog. So we're gonna see if we see our frog. If he jumps out, I'm gonna be a little bit startled, but I'm gonna be so delighted if we see our frog. Yeah, scared. Okay, and you have this right here. It looks like a certain plant, but it's not the plant you think it is. I mean, these leaves look just like it, but it's not. I know, it's wild. Anyway. And yeah, that is the. So far, no frogs. One time there was a frog under. One time there was a frog under a house, and no, what? And I saw it, and I was like, "Whoa!" So what happened was, there was a board, and I lifted up a board, and a frog was just chilling under there, and I'm just like, "All right, I'm just gonna let bro chill." Yeah, yeah, thank you. I love my frog friend. And yeah, so those purple flowers are lurking right here. Wow. Is Abby going to sleep? Abby, is it snowing right now where you are? Oh, you wish you were on the farm again. Well, this is actually a lot like a farm because you see, like right here, you could just put some chicken coops and turkeys and things like that, or I don't know, pigs and goats or whatever here. So there's definitely room for that here. Yeah. So yeah, one day, you'll see the farms again. You'll see it again. But yeah, definitely something that I would like. You know what? I was in Kentucky. Oh, you don't work tomorrow. That's good. That's good. Yes, call it the Garden of Eden. I like that. That is what it is. So okay, there is a story. So when I was a kid, not a kid but a teenager, I was in Kentucky, where my mom's aunt and uncle, which is my aunt and uncle too, are, and I was out in the mountains. I loved it. This place reminds me of that a little bit. That's why I like to have the lights off and stuff because it reminds me of that. Even doing this stream reminds me of my uncle when we would talk about the different constellations over in Kentucky. He passed away like a year or two ago, rest in peace, from Parkinson's, but taught me a lot of cool things. And Abby says, and not snowing here, but we still have quite a bit of snow. Oh, nice. Okay. Okay. Thanks for the update. Yeah. So, oh yeah, yeah. She has a cool channel. I subscribe to her too. Oh, that sounds really fun, Abby, of camping and fishing with friends. That'll be really cool for you to do. All right, so in the mountains, I remember I would smell moonshine in the distance, and maybe they're making some meth or something too, but I smelled it in the distance, something they're making out there. And back at nighttime, there's lots of stars, and there's Max the dog. And he's an indigenous Native American dog, and he would kind of run around in the hills. So I definitely that is much more because there's houses all over the place here, So I'm very good with camera and making like clips and movies and stuff because I'm talented with that, and it's something I like doing. So I'm making this look like it's out in the middle of nowhere, and it kind of is, but there's actually, other houses around. So in the country, there's even no houses or less houses. They're more spread out. So, and I've been out there before, and it's very nice. And I love the trains. I always love the trains. And I like to go to Northern Ontario. Northern Lights there are beautiful. Oh yeah, that is gorgeous. I want to see that one day. That is very nice, very nice. Right. And I'm down to camping and fishing. Thank you to Happy. Yes, facts. Oh, I love collecting rocks. I love collecting rocks. That is always fun. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with rocks and sticks. When I was in Mississippi in the country I was evacuating from the hurricane that hit here, I was in the kind of the Mississippi woods, and there was like a cliff I was on, by the campfires and stuff. And I love collecting the rocks there. Crystals, amethyst, and ones just look cool. Oh, I love those too. And I believe they can have positive vibes to them or whatever. Those are pretty cool. I like collecting those too. I've talked about those on my show before. Night Shift says Mississippi at night has a ridiculous amount of stars in the sky. It's so clear. Yeah, that is true. I remember there was a camp. It was like a campground, and there was trailers. Well, not like trash trailers, but just like camping trailers. And it was nice starry nights, and there was the lake. There was a river, the Pearl River. That's where I was on, and my grandpa and I would try to fish. We did good with fishing, but these particular fish were able to take the bait and swim off. I don't know what they really were, but whatever was under there got the bait. So, yeah, Mississippi was nice too. You've done ice fishing? Yeah, Night Shift. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it was nothing like that. No. It was just a nice camping ground with a mom and pop camping ground. My family and I, we'd rent some movie, cassette tapes. Not cassette tapes. I'm going back to the 1800s. I was renting some VHS tapes and DVDs, and we would watch movies. It was pretty nice. And Abby said ice fishing, regular fishing, and magnet fishing. Okay, I don't know what magnet fishing is. Explain to me what magnet fishing is, and ice fishing. That is completely based. That is awesome that you did that. I like to do that one day. That's like, they'll have like the movies and stuff here. They'll show like Eskimos, which the term allegedly is not a correct term, they say, but whatever they are, those people in like Siberia, they do some ice fishing with a polar bear. Yeah. All right. Abby says, yes, I have. It's popular here in Canada, and my dad used to go each year. I love those times. Magnet fishing sounds wild, bro. Yeah, that definitely is wild with the magnet fishing. It's like bro gets like a magnet, and there's like a fish, and it's like, haha, Mr. Fish, you met your match. And the fish just gets hooked by the magnet. Night Shift, we very well may have to go to Canada, and we're going to go there and do some ice fishing. That's going to be fun. Yeah, I'm all for it. Yeah, Canada is very beautiful. I have some of my ancestors were from Canada over 100 years ago, and they moved to London, and then I came here through my dad. Yeah. Let's see. Magnet fishing is a magnet on a rope, and you can. Alberta, yeah, we'll go right up there to Alberta. Facts. And magnet fishing is a magnet on a rope, and you can find really cool things that have been thrown in there. And you see me, I'm thinking like she's fishing for some metal fish or some things like that, but that's not what she means. She means like she's fishing for like keys and jewels and coins and stuff. Yes, drain the lake. Yes, exactly. Night Shift. There is a lake, I think, in Nevada somewhere, and it's drying up, and they're finding a bunch of boats and bodies and all kinds of stuff in there from the 20s and crazy things like that. So Yeah, definitely when the lake dries up, that's what it is. Yeah. Coins and car parts. Yeah. There's north of me, there's a lake called Lake Pontchartrain, and some French word. And there's all kinds of stuff in there from the hurricanes and the canals, and that is what's in there of all kinds of things. There was some baseball. And the water's kind of dirty, but over the other side of the lake, it looks good. Yeah, find a safe. Yes. Guns have been found too. Yeah, all those crime scenes. They're dumping their weapons in there. Yep, the criminals, and the different heists and stuff they'll do. I'm talking like I'm from the 20s, but I'm not. But maybe I am. But these. So the Lake Pontchartrain. Okay. Now, Lake Pontchartrain. Now, there was a time where there was segregation, and where they had the black people in one part and the whites in another part, but of course over time they got rid of that and they integrated everybody. But the part of the lake where it was the black area is actually the cleanest part of the lake. That lake is because there's the regular Lake Pontchartrain has all kinds of mud in it, but the other side is like clear blue water and green looking, like clear crystal blue water. And I've never seen anything like that before because they recently went over there because it has been untouched for like decades, and it looks nice and clear. So that was something I learned recently. It was in the news. Yeah. Lake Punch-A-Train. I'm thinking like Popeye the Sailor Man, and he's punching a train, and the train just goes. He eats some spinach, and he punches a train, and it just goes. It has like it breaks up and starts, and it goes all over the place. Yeah, we're gonna go punch a train. It reminds me of SpongeBob when like the two trains collide and hit each other. Yeah, exactly. Night Shift, right. So people would swim in the lake, but they don't do that anymore. I'm like, that lake was like supposed to be like brain-eating amoebas in there or something crazy like that. But you know what guy I know about? So there was this thing that happened where there's the Six Flags, and the Six Flags was abandoned. Water monster. Yeah, definitely. You know the thing from the Black Lagoon. It's not called a thing from the Black Lagoon, but it's a creature from the Black Lagoon. That's what basically it is. Yeah. There is some urban legends of a werewolf somewhere in these lands somewhere, but I've not seen it so far. We'll see it. If we see it live, we'll have to go to interview him. And something happened where the Six Flags was abandoned because of the disaster, and there are so many like alligators and boars and things that took over it. When I was little, I went there, but I haven't been there ever since. But yeah, it was many urban explorers have gone there. And I like cryptids too. Oh wait, tongue twister. Hey, Integra. Oh, just call him Boy. So yeah, Boy, I like cryptids, and yes, Abby, I believe in this. I believe skinwalkers are real. I've done streams about them. Yeah, Louisiana has Bigfoot. Yep. So there is the skinwalkers okay, I have to do a Bigfoot rant. So with Bigfoot, it's believed to be interdimensional, and so what that means is it's from another dimension and it comes in our realm. One night I was in some other stream where it was a Christian music stream. There's a lot of Satanists and some trolls and some Christians and some agnostic people debating. It was an interesting bunch, and there was these trolls that were just kind of mouthing off back and forth. And what happened was towards the end of the stream, he got real philosophical with me, the troll, and he was talking about the mysterious man in the woods, right? The mysterious man is an entity that helps people, the mysterious helper. It helps people out in bad situations, and that's probably what Bigfoot is, because the Native American indigenous people, they believed in something like Bigfoot before this was even America, or Canada even was there. So there's definitely something out there. And Abby said, I get made fun of, but skinwalkers seem real to me. Oh, they're real. You see, there's so many things coming out about aliens and extraterrestrials. Like there's MK Ultra, and there's so many testimonies from people that worked for the government that got assassinated or silenced, or not even that. There is people that worked for them that were claiming about working with extraterrestrial hybrids and aliens and dealing with cryptids. Now, cryptids, for instance, gorillas were seen as cryptids, and there's other animals that were cryptids, but they're actually, real. So it doesn't mean they're not real. So cryptids, I think, are from either species of animals that we're not really familiar with, or some humanoids. And I do think that there's fallen angel hybrids that were created, and that's what those things are too. And people that may not believe in the angel thing, some sort of extraterrestrial alien species mixed with earth creatures and made hybrids. Yeah. I think that both are real. And the alien theories are this. So I believe with the vast cosmos and the universe, there's something out there. All right. And I do believe there are aliens that are, from my opinion, that are fallen angels of some kind. Like there's something called the Watchers, and then they became fallens. Oh yeah, they're in Canada sightings. I would think there's Canada sightings there too. Yeah, and you want to see a baby Bigfoot, a Bigfoot puppy. Yeah. So there's theories that the aliens are from other realms, like another dimension, that are coming over to our dimension, and there may be Watchers or fallen angels that are disguised as aliens. So that's two theories. There's either from another planet or they're from some sort of fallen angel. The third theory is that they're time travelers. So explaining that one is that 56,000 years from now, in space, our descendants got gray skin and weird bulgy looking eyes, and they came in a time machine for various reasons to where we are, and that's what those things are. And they have a tablet called the Yellow Book, and the Yellow Book tablet has the history of man from the past to the present all the way through, and they have but I'm not too sure what exactly they are, if they're all true. But yeah, those are different alien theories, or what they are. Oh, nice, Abby, I'm trying to come through to Canada. Bigfoot puppy, bro. Facts. And also, this way. Okay, let's go this way. Okay, I'm okay, Night Shift. If you find one, get to name him or her. Awesome. And Night Shift, you get one effect. Oh yeah, so anyway, so with those are the theories about what the aliens are, and I do think there are demonic entities too, and they do smell like sulfur, and people have bad experiences with them. So that I do think the cryptids are real. And see, people that make fun of others about the aliens. See, my buddy and I went to school with, he was very into aliens along with me. And what happened was he told me about them, and I believed in it because there was like Jimmy Neutron. And with Jimmy Neutron, there was a zombie apocalypse happening and no one believed him. But eventually something did happen. And there are zombies, aliens taking over. So if you don't believe something and it's real, it makes you look stupid. So I don't mind being proven wrong. I just don't want to be wrong about something crazy like that. So that's why I believed in aliens, and I was right. And Night Shift said, I'm going to name him Back Off because you smell it, you're going to back off. Right, right. Ah, okay. I remember there was the Jersey Devil, and that one's very weird looking. It looks like a chicken dragon thing. And there's something called Gilgamesh. So during the Iraq War, there was a Gilgamesh entity, and it's believed that the Clintons maybe wanted, and the people in the elites wanted to take those things out. They wanted to take those things out. They wanted to take Iraq out because they wanted the Gilgamesh mummy, which is not really a mummy. So there's a theory that I always believed in aliens, to be honest, and I fear they're pretty good evidence they are real. Yeah, definitely. And I've seen them too before. And with the entity that has been seen, Gilgamesh, it's like a 14-foot long person from, the biblical times who was put in like a sleep state tomb, and he's supposed to be an antichrist figure. So they had the Iraq War and took him out and brought him back to resurrect him as the antichrist. Also has to do with some sort of powers that it possesses, because I believe a lot of these elites lie to us, and they are all working together with the fallen angel entities or aliens to cause more trouble. There's a fireman that was saying he fought the aliens for a government program, and his fingers were blown off. And one of the alien put like a hand motion over his chest, and he was safe again. And they smell really bad, and they go to the bathroom through their skin. Just give Bigfoot Pepper Bro and give him a Hershey squirts, and we're gonna give him some beans and some tacos and some extra spice, and then that will work. Yeah, I scared. Yeah, I saw something where, let's see, with Bigfoot, not Bigfoot, but, well, I saw extraterrestrials before. I saw the UFO one time. I was looking over the horizon. I was like looking over the horizon, and I saw a blue orb sphere rise up in the sky and float around, and it was completely blue and shiny, and it was not a drone. And I took a video of it and put it on my channel. So yeah, there's definitely people that have seen the different ETs, and there's something called the tall whites that are real creepy, that are like in the out west. There's those. So that is another one that I have, seen before. All right, and this is the red vines again. Yeah, so definitely there is a portal. There is an alien. I've seen really weird lights in the sky and swore it was a UFO. Oh, definitely. Those are real. The red color is like crimson. Oh yeah, there was this incident that happened where the aliens, the crimson aliens, there is a crystal that they use, and they use it to power the UFO. There's a dude that was a UFO skeptic, and he saw that, and he just was never a critic again. There is J-Rod, who was a gray alien that was being studied by this dude, and the gray alien claimed to have a family and everything, and eventually they brought him out and to the portal and transported him back to where he came from. And yeah, so there's all kinds of and on the channel we talk about kinds of things of UFOs and aliens. Moki and I, she's the co-pilot, helps me out with things, and she told me about we talk about the alien theories all the time, and there's reptilian aliens, and remember, there are gods that people worshipped in past religions that came from the sky. It's all interconnected. Exactly, Night Shift, because there's times where people need to see it to believe it. I agree, but it's too late. It's kind of like Titanic. They didn't believe it could sink, and it sunk. It's like sometimes, like, if aliens are not real, it won't be the end of the world for me if I say aliens are real and they really aren't real. It's something people should know about, and there is evidence from the U.S. Army and the U.S. Navy pilots that have found them. There's also something called a USO, and the USOs are UFOs from underwater. So there's underwater bases too. Now, today there was this website that the U.S. government released, and it has to do with alien disclosures. So they're setting up the website up to bring out alien disclosure, which I'm glad they're finally doing that. The Book of Enoch talks a lot about, like, the fallen angels that were fighting each other and created human hybrids called the Nephilim, sort of like alien human hybrids, right? And they're these giants that walk the earth, and they did things with sea creatures and things with mammals, and those creatures have been, which is in the Bible too, but it's an additional book that was taken out the Bible a long time ago, but I believe it's still legitimate, and it goes in more detail about it. So that explains, like, people getting abducted and doing experiments on humans and creating hybrids. It's the same thing. Yeah. So that is true with the different hobbies and things that they have. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. You could see what they found in those caves, and I'm glad that you're into that stuff too. The Euphrates River is drying up. Yeah, and just people don't always, like, accept the reality and truth about those things, but that is definitely a real thing right there. And that's what they're trying to conceal. They wanted to conceal information about that for so long, and finally now it's all coming out. Putting that there, and putting this in here too. Okay. It doesn't really do too much, but it does something. Yes. I remember that story from a while back about the angels in the cave. Very well said. And the angels that are in there, which I believe that they certainly are real, they're going to be let out at some point and cause havoc on the earth. All right. And let's see this. Leaving that there. Those are some more clovers. All right. And yeah, but a very good point. Let's see. Moment, we're going to go inside and continue the conversation. Also, yeah, the fallen angels. Correct. You're going to have my dog quickly and get ready for bed. Thank you so much for chatting, and I should be here tomorrow if you're live. Okay, I will certainly be live tomorrow. I believe I will be. And yeah, people better wake up. And I definitely agree. And I have a lot of stuff on me, but yeah, we're going to continue it inside. Let's see. There's some boxes for the cats, things like that here. Okay. I'm going to put this and that. Those are some rocks right there. Putting the shovel there, and it falls. Nice. I have too many things in my hands, but I didn't bring any kind of bag with me, so it is what it is. Alrighty. Where is he? Where is the shovel? Okay. I'll put it right there. And there's another cat sleeping. Oh yeah, definitely will love Canada, indeed. Okay. So, in Night Shift, we're still going to continue the conversation. I recommend Alberta or Vancouver Island, but it's expensive up as fuck there. Okay. All right. So, I got this, and we're about to go in. But I'm going to continue the conversation about this in a moment. I just don't, not an octopus right now, so I have to get the key this way. Yeah, I will go to Canada too. That's nice. Very nice up there. All right. So it's going to look dark for a moment, and then I'm going to be dark for a moment, but I'm going to be, right back. It's going to be dark for a moment, and then we're going to continue conversation. You'll see me. Okay, so here we go. All right, here I am. So we're continuing this here, and I am back from the journey outside. All right, so here I have the different things of the computer and stuff, but I have to now. I'm inside, and here we go. Let's say go that way. Yeah. So earlier I was talking about the fallen angels, and like that. Okay, I am back. Here I am. For a minute there, I may have not been there, but I'm here now. So anyway, so yeah, definitely with the yeah, my connection is choppy, but I thank you for the feedback. I have returned. It just when I'm going through different in and out, it will cause a situation like that to occur. And one thing that I was seeing was with the fallen angels that they'll have something called the Ophium, and it's wheels within wheels, right? And when you have something with wheels within wheels, compare them to the UFO sightings that people see in modern times. I I'm glad that more people are waking up about that. And we were talking about the Euphrates River. That that one is really another thing that's linked to it. So with these fallen entities, which are UFOs or the Ophium types that fell, those are the ones that cause deception by people think that it's something like a false something from space or whatever, but it's really from ancient times. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I was going to do. I was going to show you the example of the wheels within wheels, which is something you already know about, and I believe that people have already been waking up about these things. The Ezekiel's wheel. Let's go here. All right, so this is the fallen thing with the wheels within wheels, which not all of them are bad, but it's just that is an angel, right, with the wheels, and those are a lot very similar to the UFOs people see. Like this, you know, that is very similar. Yeah, that's drone footage that looks like similar to Ezekiel. So that one too. But when someone sees that, they'll think it's some sort of UFO or an orb. Yep, all interconnected. And there's another alien story where there's planet Serpo, and okay, his my shift says last year around August it was reported to be seen in space. Yeah, okay, thank you. I'm glad to know that because I don't think I recall that specific incident, but it is oh, the wheel within our solar system. Okay, okay. Yeah. I think that's connected to the same thing. Mhm. So, yeah, with the UFOs, there's all kinds of things out there that people associate with, some modern technology, but it's been there for a long time. So, instance, Planet Serpo was an operation that the U.S. government was having with these other aliens that were from the Reticuli constellation. That entity, there's 12, allegedly 12 astronauts that went to that planet. They had a problem where a few of them died and some of them stayed behind, but mostly they did come to the planet. and the Ebians have two sons, and they are. It's a very hot planet, and when that happened, it was very clear that they're trying to get the technology from aliens. One of the Ebians or Ebans was dying or died, and it was because of our atmosphere and electromagnetic field that caused their UFOs to crash. So that was that story, and they had laboratories with all these strange things from all kinds of different parts of the galaxies, and one of the people died, but it's kind of mysterious that one of the people died under those strange circumstances, and that is the story of Serpo. Ding dong. Well, the DJ is out sleeping somewhere, so we're not going to be doing that at the moment. And Night Shift says, I was locked up and we watched the news every day. It's huge purple mass, and the news reporters called it New Jerusalem. Okay, and okay, interesting. So in the New Jerusalem, that is yeah, definitely a theory about the New Jerusalem coming from the sky, and I do think there could be deceptions that can happen to try to bring people off course. That's something that I do think could be a thing. And the for which I'm not completely familiar with the story entirely, but yeah, it could be a sign of the end times, or also it could be some sort of mirage that's trying to like pretend to foreshadow that, but it doesn't. I am not Ro. Ro is out on a lunch break. Yeah, but as I said, the okay, Dixon Mays. Shout out to Dixon Mays. Let's see. All right. And thank everybody for watching. So, yeah, that is an interesting thing that you saw in Night Shift. Very cool. And I do think all those things are interconnected with that stuff. And as I said, sometimes things can be deceptions. Now, there's some UFOs that are, yeah, yeah, be nice people. Yeah, be nice. Kindness is free. Yeah. And there are, I said, there's stories of not Serpo, but yeah, Serpo is one of the stories that we talked about. There are different alien species. There are the whites, the Nordics, the grays, and the kind of like insectoids. There's a story of Solomon talking to insect people or talking to the ants, but there's theories that the ants are actually some sort of extraterrestrials. So that was something that I found intriguing. Now we were talking also about the moon landing being fake, and when that happened, the moon landing not being real, it was really essentially this that they went to the moon, but the film that they showed could have been fabricated. Okay, it could have been completely fabricated, hypothetically, where it was like the flag's kind of fluttering. It's kind of a dark room, and they have somebody filming it while it's going off into space. So for competition, things like that, and there was things on the moon that might have to do with aliens, and they didn't want that to be revealed at the time because a lot of times with aliens, the reason why they demonize aliens, that talk about those things, is they don't want people knowing the truth about them. Because there's lots of instances of aliens being on operating tables and stuff, but they want to say, "Oh, it's not really happening," and things like that. We've also talked about the Triangle too, where a lot of planes and crafts and ships have disappeared. There was another thing that disappeared where in the Nevada Triangle, there's a Nevada Triangle where 2,000 planes went missing, and there was people have gone missing too. So there's something mysterious going on over there as well. And so that was something I was learning recently, and very, uh, very mysterious circumstances how those things can disappear. We also talked about the giant of not Gilgamesh, the giant of Kandar. This was a Nephilim creature. So there is the U.S. Army forces went into Afghanistan, and Afghanistan's a very difficult terrain. When this happened over in Afghanistan, they found this red-haired, 12-foot tall man with a spear, and he was fighting them. Hello there, Ibrahim. I believe that's what that says. Welcome to the stream. Yeah. So over there is this Nephilim they allegedly caught. They deleted it and they had a gunfight with it, and they brought it back over to the U.S. Air Base in probably Ohio, probably. So I believe that was probably true with those Nephilim sightings, because what happened when the Great Flood happened, the Nephilims migrated up into the mountains in those different places to avoid the flood. In South America, they talk about a great flood happening where one of their gods flood the earth to get rid of the giants. And that's similar to what the like Abrahamic religions and the biblical narrative about a great flood happening, because many different civilizations talk about that, about a great flood. So there's South America and some random pagan culture. They talked about a that happening, this great flood happening, and they kept on building these pyramids on top of each other to reach this thing that was way up high. So definitely something is supernatural out there, and definitely something alien too. And I believe, with God, He has power, and He's revealing these things over time for everybody to see, the truth. There are some instances of the reptilianoids that came from the draconic constellations, and these beings, the fallen sons of God, and they would intermingle with the Earth people. And these Earth people, now, yeah, that is what the cause of that is. So Night Shift says Hindu talks a lot about the beings that came from the sky. Yeah, yeah. Let's see, we'll pull that up. There's Hindu gods that came from the sky, and let's see this. Let's see. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, they talk about these things that came from the sky, and these, were not true gods, the God of Abraham, but yeah, definitely similar to aliens, like what we would call aliens now, and they all came from the sky, wanted to be worshipped. Now, from the Abrahamic religions, or from the, as I also say, like biblical narrative, these things came from the sky, and the fallen alien watchers, angels that came here that was trying to take God's place. They have wings and they're mighty. They have lots of power because God, and people that worship these things have nothing, no hate against them. Uh, But how it works is from this narrative that they were aliens of some kind or these interdimensional beings that came here to claim the planet Earth, right? These things. And I'm related to the Vikings and a lot of people are, but I was interested in the Vikings, and there's Thor, the god of thunder. He was red-haired and he has a goats that fly around, and that was probably like a UFO. So from the gods of different European religions or Asia, Africa, whatever, are all originated from these types of things. Yes, they had Sky Wars, and there is something called Odin's Hunt, which is from and by the way, Norse paganism is linked to Hinduism. Let's see this. Yeah, this is an old painting, but this is yeah, right here is Odin's Hunt. He was going across the sky. That's where a lot of these things took place. And all that is like extraterrestrials with their UFOs fighting. So this was a depiction of it, but that's what it really was UFOs fighting. Yeah, so all these different civilizations and cultures all around the world talked about these things. All right. And yeah, those things are definitely. And let's see. Hello, Brig. Good morning, evening to you too. And we're talking about extraterrestrials and things like that. All right. And the Euphrates River, we're on top of the Euphrates River. And yeah, shout out to Brig. Facts. The longest and one of the most historical significant rivers in Western Asia, often called the cradle of civilization, is served as the lifeblood of ancient Mesopotamian empire like the Sumer, Akkad, and Babylonian and Assyria. It's approximately 1,740 miles long. It originates from mountains of Turkey, and Assyria travels the length of Iraq. Oh, man, it's wild finding out that things that we were told that was fake turned out to be real under our nose. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because there's so many things that conspiracy theories they'll say that are not true, but they actually are. They actually are. And for instance, there's Nancy Guthrie that went missing, and then maybe she knows some things and trying to silence her. There was another situation that occurred where General McCasland was very knowledgeable, allegedly, and had to do with extraterrestrials and what's it called? Area 51. He has gone missing recently, and he's near Zero Ranch. It's certainly, an unsolved mystery in our modern times about what happened to Nancy Guthrie and the McCasland also. Theories are that other parts of the world are using alien technology or being influenced by them, and we want and our government has alien technology to do things, but they don't tell people about how it all works. You know, so it's crazy to think about all these conspiracy theories that they say that didn't happen actually were true. Okay, and we're going to talk about some of the go down the rabbit hole, and also there's MK Ultra too. It was this program that was used to try to mind control experiments on children, and it was really because of the Soviet Union and the communists and North Korea and Vietnam were influencing our troops to be against us, and it really baffled them. So they were trying to figure out a way where they can negate this issue and make it more how it was. Okay, night shift, buddy. It was very nice talking to you. God bless and take care. Okay. Right. So that's what MK Ultra had to do with. And Brig, you saw one time I had MK Ultra in my description, and yeah, that's basically the rabbit hole of it. And they were trying to, like, we've seen Unsolved Mysteries, Brig, and there's a lot of that. Some of these things we see had to do with MK Ultra ripple effects, and we saw the different wars that happened, and over time, each different one happened over time, and people were brainwashed to think certain ways. So our government was trying to go and stop this from happening and have our own program to do mind control, and they use psychedelic drugs, and a lot of this stuff maybe be even used today in media. So that's the theory about it with the MK Ultra. And there is some more information about alleged UFO engines. I will read about that. And there is an engine inside. Let's see. I remember seeing something about Ted Kaczynski may have been involved in MK Ultra. Never looked into it though. Yeah, he was a victim of MK Ultra, and what he did was very wrong, but he was trying to bring attention to the corrupted government, and that's something that occurred. Yeah, he had to do with it too. Charles Manson allegedly was in it and was used by it to do those murders, and they can manipulate things in the media to get people that might be vulnerable or susceptible to go and be murdered, or the shootings and stuff that happen. Not that I'm not saying that they're staged, but they can influence media to have people think a certain way, and maybe somebody that might be more susceptible to it was affected by something he saw in the media. And by media, I mean their own personal thoughts, their schools, or what they're going through, or whatever. They use it as fuel to the fire. But without that, they would have probably done it anyway. But it just makes the situation worse. All right, and let's see this, and let's go here. All right, so let's go down the MK Ultra rabbit hole. So MK Ultra is a top secret illegal human experimentation program run by the Central Intelligence Agency and the CIA that began in early 1950s. Its primary goal was to develop a techniques for mind control and chemical warfare to be used against the Soviet enemies. during the Cold War. Agencies sought to find truth, serum, or a way to manipulate the subject's mental state to force confessions or program behavior. The program was headed by chemist Sidney Gottlieb, who operated under the belief that human mind could be blasted apart and then rebuilt into something new. To achieve this, the CIA authorized over 150 sub-projects involving various methods of psychological torture. These include sensory deprivation, hypnosis, verbal, sexual abuse, and administration of psychoactive drugs. The most famous aspect of MK Ultra was the use of LSD. The CIA administered the drug to unwitting subjects, including mental health patients, prisoners, drug addicts, and even fellow CIA agents in one operation known as Operation Midnight Climax. The agency set up brothels in San Francisco where prostitutes lured men to be secretly drugged while agents watched behind one way glass. A lot of the people that were involved in this MK Ultra and these scientists were from the Third Reich that came over here later, after the war was over. So this big experiment was happening on the youth and people all over different age groups in America. And then after that, they may have influenced media to do the same type of mind control for other reasons. Well, LSD was a major focus. The project also experimented with substances like heroin, morphine, MDMA, and mescaline. The intent was often to see if the drugs could induce amnesia or make a person more susceptible to suggestion. Many subjects suffered permanent psychological. Hello, Loretta. Welcome to the stream. We are talking about earlier. I was in the garden. I have a garden, and I was in there earlier showing them around. And now I'm inside talking about some conspiracy theories. Good morning to you. And let's go here. Right. Just basically MK Ultra, which is a mind control program the CIA had. There's theories that today it's still in full effect, influencing people today. All right. CIA agents, an operation known as the Operation Midnight Climax, the agency set up brothels in San Francisco, which prostitutes lured men. Okay. While LSD was a major focus, the primary also experimented with other substances like heroin and morphine and MDA. Has anyone in chat ever had a paranormal encounter or a UFO encounter out of curiosity? The intent was often to see if these drugs could induce amnesia or subjects could induce amnesia or make a person more susceptible to suggestion. Many of the subjects suffered a permanent psychological damage and some lost their lives, though the exact number of casualties remain unknown. One of the most high-profile tragedies was the death of Frank Olson. Yes, Sprig, there you go. Every single one of my streams is a paranormal encounter. Yep, there you go. Indeed. So you have them every day. Yeah. So Frank Olson, a military scientist who secretly dosed with LSD by Gottlieb. 9 days later, Olson fell to his death from hotel window in New York. While the government initially ruled it was a suicide, later investigations exhumed suggest that he may have been murdered to prevent him from leaking program secrets. There's always a thing about censorship all the time. And with the program and these types of secrets that they have, they they want to silence people. That's why to this day and age, people think that there's still censorship and silencing going on with these different types of theories. There was a Twilight Zone episode, by the way, of a man falling out of a window because he had a hallucination dream of this crazy woman talking to him in a creepy theme park. So I think they must have known about this, and the episode had to do with this type of thing. All right, the program didn't just happen in the U.S. It extended to into Canada at McGill University. Our Dr. Ewan Cameron received the CIA funding for Project 68. He attempted the parent patients by using high voltage electroshock therapy several times a day and keeping them in drug induced sleep for weeks, causing many to lose their memories and basic motor skills. Right. And MK Ultra operated in total secrecy for 2 decades with the very few members of the government aware of its existence. Wasn't until the aftermath of Watergate scandal that the program came to light. In 1973, CIA Director Richard Helms ordered all MK Ultra facilities destroyed to protect the agency from public scrutiny and legal repercussions. Despite the destruction of records, a cache of documents was discovered in 1977 following a Freedom Information Act (FOIA) request. This led to Church Committee and Rockefeller Commission hearing, which officially exposed the program's ethical violations, and public was horrified to learn their own government had conducted medical experiments on citizens without their consent. Yeah, with this MK Ultra stuff, it's like people can be watching something and it's not really what they're thinking it is, you know, because it's really having subliminal messages, tied within it. Right. Today, MK Ultra serves as a dark reminder of the lengths of government might go in the name of national security. It led to the strengthening of information, consent laws, and more rigorous oversight of intelligence activities. However, oh, you stepped away to start the coffee. Okay. Okay. However, further survivors and their families, the trauma of being used as a human guinea pig remains a devastating and unresolved chapter in history. All right, and let's go into this part. That is good. You are getting the coffee. All right. The legacy of MK Ultra has fueled decades of conspiracy theories and has been a cornerstone of pop culture, inspiring stories like the Manchurian Candidate and Stranger Things. While the CIA claims the program was shuttered. Oh wait, I read that. Let's go to this other prompt. Right, no, this other section. That's what it is technically. Operation Midnight Climax was notorious for the CIA's MK Ultra program that ran roughly from 1953 to 1963. It is one of the most extreme examples of non consensual human experimentation in the US history, involving the use of state run brothels to study the effects of drugs and sexual manipulation. The Safe House. The CIA established a secret apartments, most notably in 225 Chestnut Street, Telegraph Hill, in San Francisco and New York's Greenwich Village. These safe houses were decorated to look like scale bordellos and lewd posters and prints. Yeah, completely, 100%. These type of experiments were happening and causing lots of trouble. Right, the subjects. The agencies hired local prostitutes to lure Johns back to the apartments and men drugged with LSD and slipped in their cocktails. This is where LSD came from, was probably used a lot more in. And when that happened, it's got all over the place. Right. Surveillance. The rooms were equipped with one-way mirror and hidden microphones. Say agents sat in adjacent room, often on portable toilet, drinking Martine Martinez, and observed the film. Drug included behavior of post-coastal questioning. All right. And Briggs says, I remember speculation that some abductions may have actually been people getting drugged while camping and then picked up by CIA. Those unsolved mysteries, that may be the key answer to those mysteries. And we've seen episodes of unsolved mysteries where there's people who, or that I remember this lady who got hit by a motorcycle, and some nice woman took her to a nice place, and she just disappeared and was never seen again. And I think a lot of those missing people were probably used in some of those operations, or also the one that you mentioned about people in the woods or going camping being dragged out and picked up by the CIA. That too. I'm sure there's homeless people or troubled people or people camping that were used too. So there you go. I do think those are certainly factors that were played a role in this, because there's just so much things that they hide and keep from us, and they like, remember there's that one episode about the father and the farmer that just vanished out of nowhere, out of thin air. It's like, where did he go? So I think that it's possible a lot of missing cases have to do with this MK Ultra thing, perhaps not all of them, but maybe some of them do. George Hunter, a high-ranking Federal Bureau of Narcotics agent who ran the operations from CIA under the Alice Morgan Hull, he was known for his freewheeling and unethical approach, later writing that tolling the program was fun.
Blackmail and intelligence. The CIA wanted to see if the combination of drug, sex could be used to entice, extract secrets, or compromise foreign agents through sexual blackmail. There's theories that Epstein himself was into this type of blackmail. Right. Briggs says so. Some of those guys in the brothels that got drugged may have never found out, went through the rest of their lives wondering what happened. I agree that that certainly may have been an outcome where they never knew that they were experimented on or something happened. Maybe they had a weird dream that something happened, but they wouldn't really recall it. That's a good point too. Scientific failure. A decade of agency concluded that the program yielded virtually no scientific value after 1963. The existence of Operation Midnight Climax only became public in the mid 1970s during the Church Committee investigations, despite CIA's attempt to destroy all of the related files from 73. Yeah, and that is some information about MK Ultra, that there is certainly this secret program. There is a secret program out there that, say with a TV, there's a television is like telling a vision. There is something magical, so to speak, like channeling something. They have different channels. See, in the Hollywood, the Holly Tree, all of that, has to do with it being influenced by these type of things to put a figurative spell on people to buy the sugar water that's being sold. And I do think things in movies and stuff are entertaining and good. And I don't think they're all bad, but certain things I do think they're trying to influence on people and not the best way. All right. Tall whites are purported an extraterrestrial race characterized by their own highest chalk white skin and advanced technology. They are most famously associated with claims of Charles Hull, a former U.S. Air Force weather observer. Now, the tall white aliens are usually 6 to 9 feet tall. They have extremely pale, chalky white skin. Physical appearances. They are often white and blonde hair. But they look like gray aliens, a little bit more humanoid looking. They're very disturbing. Abilities. They are often described as possessing telepathic abilities and a capacity to emit emotional states to calm or control humans. A UFO vid. Well, I think I definitely think that there are UFOs out there indeed. Um, it's always good to definitely talk about. And the abilities are often described as possessing telepathic abilities. So the aliens are known to talk telepathically. That's something that they're certainly known for. And let is go here. Their abilities. They're often described as they're posted on your phone. Interesting. Describe to me what your this UFO does in the video. I was curious. They are often described as possessing telepathic abilities and the capacity to emit states calm or in control in humans. All right, Charles Hall accounts. The primary source of Tall White's narrative is Charles James Hall, who claims he encountered them while stationed at Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada during the 60s. Right, and Jeff says it moves fast, going down fast, going against the wind, and stays and stop for a while and moves away and faster in plane or helicopter. Now, from what you describe, it sounds like definitely a UFO. I would think because it's known to move in unnatural, erratic ways, and they go up and down, stuff like that. Because there's been videos of them, and other people that had sightings of them have told that to me too. What was the color of this UFO that you saw? So in my opinion, I do think that if it wasn't an experimental craft, it was a UFO. Something from another dimension, or space. Green. Yeah, Jeff, that definitely sounds like one of the orbs that is seen. We usually call them orbs, UFOs. So yeah, that definitely fits in from what a lot of people have talked about on the different talked about and shown content of. Right. So the secret alliance. Hall claims the U.S. military has hidden arguments with the tall whites, allowing them to maintain a base on the desert ranges in exchange for advanced technology. And Jeffrey says, so UFO or experimental craft. Now, there are experimental crafts, and let's see. Jeff says, I was scared to go to sleep that night, and I could fall all the way to sleep. Okay. He Now there are experimental crafts out there that the government, I call them government, but the government has. And with those, now I'll tell you this: the experimental crafts are linked to these other things. Of the experimental crafts are from the technology from the aliens. So either way, it's of alien origin. I wasn't like I'm not inside the craft to know what's going on in there to know 100% for certain. But usually, if it's probably a UFO because the experimental crafts would have some sort of lights on them or blinking lights on them, like we have. Like I don't know if it would necessarily have blinking lights on them. It's possible it didn't. They wouldn't do that, but yeah, usually there's blinking lights on them, or if you're by an airport or some kind of range like that, that is a possibility. But I think it was most likely a UFO of some kind because some of the technology just can't do what these things are able to do. So, scared to go to sleep that night, and I could fall all the way to sleep, and you couldn't fall to sleep. Oh, that's because, the adrenaline. It's a very creepy experience to see one of those things because it's something unexpected, and it has lots of, you know, weird lights and stuff in there, you know, and it gives off something a creepy vibe to it because there's something sinister about them because they're not, in my opinion, completely good. So those are normal emotions, and it seems to correlate with what people experience. Because usually, if somebody sees something angelic, it says like "Don't be afraid," and these things just make people afraid. Yeah. So, and there's something called the Ophium, which are these. Oh, you're shaking a little bit in the recording. Well, that is nervous. That is normal to do. Right. You see, these things are wheels within wheels right here. And this is a sighting of a drone footage that looks a lot like Ezekiel's wheel. So, known as Ezekiel's wheel, it's this thing that is, wheels within wheels, and it spins around, and that is there. Right. And from a distance, it looks like a floating thing. Let's see. There's other ones. Go on. Like that. Those type of things. It's a sort of a plasma type entity that we are known about. Oh, go on. Right. So a lot of people don't record stuff. They just like talk about it, and people think it's not real. But there's definitely something alien, supernatural out there, and it's good when people do record these type of things. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for telling us about it. Okay, and Jeff says something was telling me to go outside, and it was storming, and that night too. Yeah, well, that seems similar to the War of the Worlds, definitely, because there was like a cyber storm that happened, and then those things start coming out the ground. All right, and Jeff says, and I was staring at the star for a while, and then it turned into what I saw and started flying around. Well, yeah, yeah. That had to be really freaky because it looks like a star that's in disguise, and but it's actually not really a star, it's really something else, and then it, you know, floats or, starts flying around. There's actually theories about the stars themselves being some sort of extraterrestrial entity of some kind, like the Ophium, and they, the fallen stars of heaven. So what I saw one time was a blue one, similar to what you're talking about, and it just kind of went up in the air in zigzags, and it was weird. And it was complete blue sphere. There was no lights or anything in it. It was just like a blue star, but it was moving. I had something similar happen. Mm. And there's definitely something out there. I do think that they're either interdimensional beings. That I think they could be fallen angels too. There's theories about them being from other planets. There is also something happening with the the fallen ones. Besides the fallen ones, there's theories about them being time travelers too, from another realm. Rick says, "Blue sphere was your distant relatives coming to see you." Yep. Yeah, they're my distant relatives coming to see me. Yeah, that's true. Secret alliance. The Hall claims the U.S. military has a hidden agreement with the Tall Whites, them to maintain the base in the desert ranges in exchange for advanced technology. There's a lot of times where there will be they'll do these exchange programs with the alien technology, and they made these agreements and these pacts with these other. And Han, no, it's not Han. It's let's call him John. The four fallen ones under the river of Syria. Yeah, the Euphrates River. What a crazy is it that the helicopters started flying around the area, the UFO was flying around after. Yeah, so that would be evidence of it being experimental craft, actually. If like they're doing some sort of government experiment, or it was them trying to figure out what that thing is and take it out. So those are two. It's like kind of like you get no answer. It's like you don't really know if it's really real or not. Right. Right. And where is Tyler the '80s kid? I don't. Um, Tyler was not present right now. Okay. And definitely the aliens could give off some creepy vibe, like blackness and purple, like it's like a robot, but it's something like a void. So definitely quite a disturbing experience to be there and see it. One of my friends on YouTube uploaded something about a UFO he saw, and it's this orange thing that flew in the sky, and they use this crystal. The UFO had a crystal in it to go around back and forth, and that's what it was used, in there. And that is the interesting thing with that. All right, Jeff says I was staring at it for a while before I recorded it and make sure I wasn't tripping. It was like trying get my attention or something. Yeah, there are situations where the UFOs will try to what we would call communicate back and forth with people. There's been incidences, there are some TikTok videos about it where it was like blinking light. It was like a blinking light at it, and it was communicating with the person. Like he was like, blink once if you're yes, blink twice if no. So yeah, it very well may have been, and they're telepathic. So it may have been trying to telepathically communicate with you. I appreciate you sharing about that. Amen, John. Absolutely. Yeah, you felt like it, bro. Yeah. And I will not call them UFO. I'll call them demons. Yeah, because the theory about them being interdimensional entities, which are from the fall. So there's fallen watchers, these fallen angel watchers, and they they fell from they fell from grace, and they wanted to go with the Earth women to create hybrids. And so that's the theory that those grays and fallen angels are those grays and the UFOs that you see are actually demons. Right? No emergency communicate with you when you are grounded. Scared. Yeah. Yeah. I have people. and different and all over YouTube tell me about these, disturbing encounters, and I like, hearing and seeing things about them. So I appreciate people sharing about their experiences. Hall says he's formed a bond with a being known as a teacher who shared information about their culture and origins. And let's go here. Oh, Grace. Oh, hello, Grace. It's a very nice name. Welcome to the stream. All right. And Jeff says, to be honest, bro, it looked like three lights spinning around before it turned fully green, moving around. Okay, that sounds like it's something alien. I don't think with our technology we're able to do that, but of course, I don't know if there's something experimental that they're able to do something we can't really do. Yeah. Right. And Jeff says, like, lights spinning can't really explain and how you spin your fingers around. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's like a flying saucer. John means Hannah means Grace, Yahweh's favorite. By the way, my name is the German version of John, which is Hansel. It's a German variation of it, which means gift from God. Yeah. These names do have very special meanings. What do I think flies these UFOs? I think what flies the UFOs is I do believe that there are fallen angels that are pretending to be grays or these different aliens. I do believe there are aliens from other planets also that are doing it, and something that's interdimensional. So something that comes from another dimension into our realm, and they're able to come in and out like a portal to where we are, and that's why it's so bizarre. Yes, those senses you feel are those things warning you. Absolutely. And I'll read you, Jeff, about how these UFO crafts work, and you could tell me what you think. By the way, Jeff, there's something called uh, 115, this type of chemical, uh, not a chemical. It's a on the periodic table, something that's called 115, and it's used to cause these levitations. Yeah, because for some reason something was telling go outside and just stare at the sky. Yeah, that's your gut. I believe God speaks to us in our gut, in our heart. And that is something that you were witnessing, and I'm glad that you're able to get that video. Because I do like seeing things like that. All right, so this is how they work. It is oh, it was storming. Okay, storming. How it works is like this. There is an engine inside the craft, usually in the middle. This engine is powered by a charged dark matter device and manipulates the zero energy field that exists around everything. The purpose of the engine is to create an artificial electromagnetic field that the reason for this is because then the aircraft electromagnetic field works like a magnet repelling against Earth's natural electromagnetic field. Oh, yeah, I definitely think that they're doing that to cover the sky, indeed. Amen, I do agree with that, seeing the light inside yourself, Grace. Yeah. There's no something, some reason you like to open up a frequency. Yeah, and right, right. And this can create anything from a hover or going straight up, over, etc. The opposing first I'm gonna read you about the how these UFOs work. And polarities are what propel it. Here is the wildest part as a byproduct of the creation of your own electromagnetic field. You have now created your own gravitational pull inside the craft, independent of the Earth's natural gravitational pull now. You don't even feel Earth's gravity while you're inside the craft. You essentially limit G force. That is the reason why these crafts can maneuver the way they do and not turn the occupants inside to mush. This is 100% absolute truth. This is the simplest version of these crafts. More complex versions involves charge, dark matter. Hold on, bro. You'll be back. Oh, okay, Jeff. Understood. Not turn the occupant inside to mush. This is 100% the absolute truth. This is a simple version of these craft. The more complex versions involves charge, dark matter, propulsion combined with this technology that is usually requires three separate engines working in the tandem, mostly used for deep space propulsion. And this is how that works. I will now release the classified information on deep space travel. Right. It's a read the book of wisdom. Okay. Thank you for your book suggestion. Combination of three technologies put together, it works like this anti-gravity propulsion technology that creates an artificial electromagnetic field around your crafts of the opposing polarity of gravity, natural electromagnetic fields themselves. You repeal that of that and byproducts that you have now created your own artificial gravity inside the craft independent from gravity outside of gravity bubble, therefore have eliminated G force. Second, technology is antimatter, but in classified documents listed is charged with dark matter propulsion. The third is particle vacuum enhanced energy at the front of the craft. Pull it forward through a vacuum in space time that opens in front of it. These three technologies combined the same time allows you to reach what is known as the optimum speed, which is about 98% of the speed of light. When reach the speed, you can now see the access wormholes that you had no idea were there before and naturally formed when galaxies from form and connect all over the universe. However, these wormholes are not instantaneous, and sometimes you spend months or even years in them depending on your destination. Not every wormhole can get you everywhere either. Like I said, naturally formed technologies made will be the same place every time. Oh, that is good. You did that on your profile. That's very good. All right, and so that is about how these flying spacecrafts work. I think it's important for people to have wisdom and talk about those things, and because a lot of people are unwise these days. When you read the Book of Wisdom, it talks of you about your physical body and the matter of your spirit. Well, I'm sure it also must do things with like meditation type stuff. Like I'm sure it's about aligning the different chakras or the different energy fuels in the body. That sounds very interesting. I like that. All right, I'm glad that you are back, bro. Yes. Okay, that is good. That is good. That the other streamers believe it. Let's see. All right, now yes, I do think with a lot of these, if I else want to see it, yeah, I think with yeah, and I think with these types of sightings that you speak of, they are definitely all over. You know, because there's one time somebody will see like something that is green. Other times people will see things that are different hues and colors. But yeah, it's good to know that you have it and it's there. And it's one thing that I think is interesting is in there's a part of Arizona where it's the center of the world in one part where there's a pyramid there, and people think that it's something supernatural stuff there, but some people think it is, and some people think it isn't. Right, and that is why I think it is true. Two underscores. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, and people can show reselling page. I am back now. I turned the thing off for a moment, but I may have disconnected something there. Okay. Thank you, Jeff. And I don't know if people can hear me or not.
Okay, chat, I am back. I had to turn something off. See, all right, and shout out to you, Jeff. Cool people. Glad you told us about the story. And yeah, the buffering should be fixed now. All right, Grace says, yes, it teaches you to align your chakras and talk about the seven chakras, 114 chakras. I would say 300 chakras. How would that be through infinity? Yep, I don't know all about that, but I definitely think that it is would could be completely aligned and being complete zero spiritual sync. Okay, Jeff, tell us about the two other times you saw a UFO. I'm curious about that. Sometimes people have reoccurring sightings about it. You know, it's good to describe to the audience about what you're seeing. Also, you know, because we're on the phones, doing these lives and talking, so then people can be able to like visualize in their minds what you saw. Is very intriguing. And yeah, because the green ones, I've seen videos like that before on TikTok. And although I don't have a TikTok, but that was one that I saw. And Nikola Tesla was the first one to create a spaceship. I have a map of Tesla and how he created the spaceship. Oh, that is cool. That's cool. Yeah, Tesla created a lot of things. Does God favor a chicken for heaven's gates more than a man? What risks do chickens have and cannot comprehend? Interesting. Okay. Jeffrey, no, yeah, Jeffrey, I got it right. One time, and my cousin were playing basketball, and the ball went into the street, so we ran after it, but I saw something white flying in the sky fast as hell, but he didn't see it. It was daytime. That sounds like one of those cigar shaped UFO things. Okay. Yes, interesting. Yes. Brick Commander says if Nikola Tesla didn't get screwed over by Edison, I bet he could have developed some really cool technology. Okay. Oh, he could have made a lot of cool technology. Absolutely. But they they didn't go and have him there like they should have had him, because he could have made technology that would have been telepathic. Like you could like have electricity that was wireless. All right, and Jeffrey says, I don't know what it could have been, but grabbed my attention right there, and I didn't even care for the ball or none. It's like I see it from my peripherals on top of my eyes. Sometimes we'll see things that are difficult for us to believe, but it is what is there is there. Right. And I like that. And do you think so? I think for sharing that, Jeffrey. And do you think you take a person's invention, you will succeed, then the person invented it? Well, I think the person that see a lot of times you could have somebody that's a trickster or a person who is not nice. And a lot of times these messed up people can win, you know, unfortunately. So it depends on the circumstances. But I do believe in the long term the person that invented it will eventually win. Let's go here. Okay, the okay, the second UFO I see now that you mentioned was blue. It was just a blue circle, just disappearing and reappearing. Yep, because the truth, Nikola Tesla finally in the light. Right, right. Yeah, see, Nicola's truth is coming to light because a lot of times it was not known what he did, but now it is coming to light about that. All right, and I have to get ready for work. Have a great day, everyone. Okay, Brig. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. All right, and let's see some more. All right, and Grace says, I seen a UFO in San Francisco, spaceship. Every car and the freeway stopped and turned off. The cars would not work at all, and we only heard a loud noise, like a beeping noise, very squeaky noise with lots of lights. Just from the noise, every car shut off. Yeah, you see, with they have some radioactive pulse to them that they're able to project. They're able to reject a radioactive pulse, and that can cause lights and things to go out. So that's very odd. Thank you for sharing, Grace. And Jeffrey says, I'm not sure if the blue one was moving. I kind of forgot, but I do remember seeing a weird blue light in the sky disappearing and reappearing. I telling someone, but he didn't believe me. Yeah, Jeffrey, you see that the problem with this is that a lot of people don't believe the UFO sightings that happened. they they all, usually don't believe it's true, and then, it comes out that it is actually true. Yeah, see, because a lot of people don't believe things about the UFO sightings. Okay, and I want to know honest opinion. Okay, so now, given that the sighting this is like something legitimate and everything, I there is a contact email that I have about those kind of things, and for the channel, I think it's like in the description in the channel. That's usually like the way the contact the me that way, and besides that, and about the alien stuff, I think it's very important to see, and I think it's good to have that type of you know feedback. Because I do get a lot of tips and things from people who are trying to expose things about UFOs and stuff. I think it's good to learn what people have to say. Okay. Okay. Okay, and let's go here. This area. All right, interesting. Yeah, because a lot of times people can't go and see things because there's all kinds of the Men in Black and government operations that want to try to expose stuff, but they don't. Oh, okay, okay. There's no email. Oh, well, that is interesting. I guess we'll have to. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for the feedback and letting me know about your alien encounter. All right. So there are many different sightings that people have, and all over the place with different sightings. Now, some of the sightings look like these orbs that will go shift into different glass and stuff like that. Like not glass, but they look clear and like kind of bubbles, and they kind of shift different shapes. Those I think are very interesting and intriguing. Another thing that I like is when you have all these different orbs, these different like lights that will flicker on and off. Those are pretty cool. One thing that I think people have seen is see the orange orbs that are basically these things where it has a sensor in it. It has a orange like crystal in it, right? And these crystals are the thing that powers the UFO itself. Right. And Grace says, all my family said I was crazy. Now they go tell me, goddamn, if you're really telling the truth. Why would I not be in the reptiles in San Francisco underground? Yeah, there are definitely the things with the UFOs underground. You say UFOs underground? Reptiles underground. So the reptiles that are underground are very interesting. You have a situation where they they like to live in hot places. Some of them are in the dark catacombs, so to speak, of the different parts of the world, different tunnels. Now, I do believe that the elites and stuff will drink the adrenochrome. So that's something I do think they're doing too. Ray said there is a place over here. There's one guy. He's part black with dreadlocks. Okay. I was thinking he was human, but no, 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 no. He's a homeless and he has a tent and he goes underground. Oh, I've heard about these things where they have homeless people that live underground. And those things could be quite messed up. It'd be quite messed up to see. And there's been stories of people that have homeless encampments underground where there is just, they go and have so many psychic, not psychic, but they have like these demonic spiritual encounters. Okay, and she said, I threw a penny and I don't hear nothing and I ran away from there. Grace says, no one goes there. It goes underground. He even told us he's a demon from underground. Oh, well, yeah, he must be one of the, the reptilian type beings then. Hmm. That makes sense. All right. He crawls on the ground inside the tent. Yeah, because there's lots of these people that are half human, half, alien hybrids, or the reptilian hybrids, which I think is rather weird. But yeah, they definitely have those alien genetics in them, and they do bizarre things. So that's an interesting encounter of something that may be of those origins. Yeah. Oh, you know where. Okay. Oh, you know where the guy is at. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure he probably gives off some weird vibes to him too. I suppose. Yeah. Yeah, and it's because sometimes with these lizards that they feed off blood a lot of times, I think, and they don't definitely have the heart or soul of what regular humans have. Yeah, there's I think the Clintons are lizards. I think. This isn't. There's a white man. He lives in Oregon. Is a reptile. I know about this one from CIA files. Okay, okay, yeah, definitely from the CIA files. They talk a lot about these things, and they get exposed over time with our type of with the research that we do. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Very cool. Okay, Grace. Understood. Understood. I think that with because there's people out there that don't believe in the freedom of speech and the things like what we believe in, and but I appreciate everybody on here tonight that has talked about their different stories and encounters and stuff. I think it's important for people to get the information out there to know what's going on. Yeah. Yes, Grace, I'm aware about what the crystals can do, and they even they can be a quartz crystal is most likely used to power the UFOs, but those crystals you speak of power yourself or plants. They also use in nature too. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. These things you go off different healing energies. There's unseen energy fields, I think, all around us. power your plants and yourself. Yes, yes, okay. And they say the kingdom of God is within man, not in a temple or anything, but the kingdom of God is within you, and with a person. And I think, that is complete facts. That's complete truth. Because it's all within us to do those things. It's not about, what external things that we see, but what is within. All right. And yeah, we're just talking about conspiracy theories and different things that are going on. All right. And at this point, we're going to be ending it for tonight. Thank you all for coming, and peace. Thank you, Grace, for sharing your story.